very, very important person because he walked into my life 3 years back when we had conference in Mumbai. He and Dr. Kwesi actually introduced him to me and said, he's an amazing person, and I didn't know him at that point. So he came and took part in the conference which happened in 2017. This somehow feels like the conference. It feels like as if the whole story has rolled back again. This talk is the 42nd talk today. So from 22nd March, we began these talks. Today is the 42nd talk. Today morning, we had a talk with my friend from Cyril Brook from Australia. I'm in deep, deep, deep gratitude to Abuna. And he will also tell you how he basically does these meditations, and he does it in a certain way. And so he's also going to brief us on what his way is and why he does it like that. Okay. That's his way of doing stuff, because he doesn't charge people money, but he does something else, and we need to get that, we need to acknowledge his way. Me personally, when he was standing on the stage and talking, whatever he said, I was wondering why he was not teaching MetaHealth. Because he knew more than most of us. He wasn't talking from the books, he was talking from his experience. And the biggest teacher in our life is not our books or our teachers, but they are our experiences that we hold on to. Unfortunately, we never take the learning. We hold on to the experiences and the emotions, but they are our driving force. So over to you. Thank you so much for being here, for giving your 2 hours of your time. And we have people from across the world, right from Finland to Paris, to Nigeria, to wherever. I mean, there are people right now sitting from across. We have about 29 participants already. So we can start the program right now. Thank you so much again.
Yes, great. Many thanks, Anu. Yes, we have also people from Egypt, I see that, and from Austria, just some friends joining. So, for those who are new here for the first time, this is not only a speech that I'm just giving or a webinar or something like this. This is more also about your questions that you have, because it's a big topic, karma and free will. Both are big topics at the end, and we have maybe about 2 hours now. So I start with talking about something, and then you'll just ask whatever you need, because it's more about you and your specific, let's say, what do you need now for your life to understand about karma and free will? And then this rolls over. So it's not about I'm giving just some information onto you and you just have to take it, but you are forming this with me, because I have no idea about your questions. So, and this is more lively and more practical, I think. So it should be in your need. So just some words about me, because many people don't know me maybe, but only shortly because the time is running. Why Abuna Semai? Well, it's a long story, but Abuna Semai, this is a spiritual name, very famous, of course, in India, etc. But I didn't give that name by myself because it sounds so nice, or by some guru, etc. I always rejected these kinds of names, but I did some meditation. So looking at the sun directly with open eyes, and I did that also at noontime. And this was given in some meditation through the sun, and well, then I couldn't resist. And it took me some time to really allow that also for me, because at the beginning it was some kind of shock, because I felt more touched by that name than my given name in my passport. And I wondered why that's the case, but at the end I found out, well, that's not the name at the end, because it's not a name like in the passport, it's more like who you truly are. And it's more a sound wave, it's more wave, it's more like a principle, let's say, about your being. So it's not a name. It's like wet. It's not a name for water. It's just a function of water. So the Abuna Semai is a function at the end, and the function is, because there's some translation about Abuna Semai, and this is a father of hearts. And this is what I'm doing here to at the end bring you back home, so you can find out you never were anywhere else. So you are always home, but you forgot about that. And what home is, etc. That's another topic maybe. But at the end, it's, I think, what it's meant for this planet for the future, that you know you are welcome in life and in existence, and you have a specific reason why you are existing, not only in this life but in all lives, and to celebrate that. That's I think the main purpose of home, of that name. And my duty somehow is, by my presence, is to bring you there. So it may be that even after the 2 hours we have here, you feel more home in your physical body, you feel more home in your life, you feel more home with yourself at the end. That's what's all about. But of course we have some side topics like karma, side topics like free will. I think this is very a major topic, and this is not a topic chosen by me, because this is from Dr. Kwesi. Most people know it here. Great guy, close friend of mine. And he said, well, that's maybe a good idea to talk about that, even in India, where it's so much about karma. And even in European countries, karma is more and more a topic. But understanding about what is that is not very clear. And free will is much more far away understandable for most people, even for me, than karma. And just about what Anu was talking about at the beginning, I don't teach from books that I learned or from workshops I attended, or etc., etc. I'm let's say scientist about consciousness, about the mind. So I meditate a lot. And it's more about insights and observing life. And I don't do this as a hobby. I do this 24 hours, 7 days a week, the whole year, because I'm living like that, because this is why I'm here. It's my greatest joy to do that all the time. So I don't have a work 5 days a week, and on the weekend I do things like that. I do it all the day, all the time, to care about these topics, because I find that interesting. And only if people ask me and think it's useful what I found out, I will tell about these things. If they don't ask anything, I won't tell about these things. So it needs an invitation to, by heart, to open up the space to give the answer. It's like, you know, that when you have a child and you want to teach them something which they didn't ask for, well, it will go here in and out there, so it's no use for that. So when you ask a question, then you're open for the answer only, and then the answer somehow will get taken and make sense for your life. So that's why I'm invited also here. And all I'm giving, I'm also giving workshops, etc. This is all I'm giving is always for free. This is all on donation based. I don't have any income through books I'm selling or through workshops. I charge money for them. Even the workshops are purely on donation basis, and not the very popular one like, you donate me $100 and then I give the workshops. No, it's only free. So you can come, and if you think it's nonsense, just you go, and then that's it. So it's about free, about all of what I'm doing. So it means when you feel this is useful for you and you feel thankful for that, and then only you are invited to give something if you like. You don't have to support my work, because I'm living only from donations. So people support me because they think what I have to tell is has some worth in theory and practice. I like the practical part more, because theory, we have more theory here, but of course it's a webinar. We can't meet here in person, but I think maybe get some nice idea for you to do that. And that's a more important thing, not to hear about this only. Then you have just some cinema going on here for 2 hours. But if you use them in your daily life, this is more important. And then only you know if what I'm talking about is true and is working, or it's just some nice idea, but has no true value in your daily life. So you have to prove it for yourself, if this is just idea, or if this is a true principle you can use in your daily life. And that's the most important thing. And do the same thing. I have some insights, and then I try to live that and find out if this can be lived or it's nonsense. And then I move on. Same here with these topics. Yeah, so and I feel very honored to be able to live on donations, because this is like a monk. I'm living like a monk without having any religion except love. So I don't have to follow any guru or any pope or something like that. I can do my own stuff, just I have to follow the divine and the principle as best as I can. Of course, I also have questions regarding the topics that we are dealing about here, about free will, about the karma. There are also some questions inside of me which are not answered yet, but I think I have some answers maybe that are useful for you. And all that I'm giving to you only is out of experience that I've proven for myself and with others that this is working. Otherwise, I keep silent, because there is no way to give you just some sound waves here and you have to believe them. I think the time of belief is over. Believing means you don't know. If you have an experience, then you know. Then you don't need to believe anymore. So if you touch water and it's wet, you know it's wet. You don't have to learn about water anymore. So here's more about experience than anything else. So we have to go from not knowing to knowing without the step of believing. There's no need for that. So maybe if you have questions, I just sell, I don't have an idea, I don't have an answer for that, but maybe I have an answer if I have an experience only. I think that's the most trustworthy thing that we can have of our experiences. So, and I don't prepare about these topics. I don't need to prepare anyway, because I'm living that all day, and as much as I can go deeper into that. So, karma and free will. I think free will is much more interesting, but somehow much more mysterious maybe too. So I think karma is not a very big deal to explain. I make it short for just for those who joined here who don't know exactly, because many people heard the word and say, yes, I know what karma is, but at the end, if you ask them deeper questions about what is karma, they don't know really. So I think that's, but at the end, it's very simple. I just start, I talk for a while, and then you write down your questions, then you have, and then we have a question session at the end. I think that's the best way we can do, I think, here. Yeah. So, karma, I make it very short. You can read, I can read books about that, but you need this essence only, and the essence is, how does all that start? Because I found out it's possible to live a life without karma, and live a life without karma is a future we need to do, because karma always is some kind of bondage. It's like a script in a movie. You have a movie script, and those who play the movie, you have to follow the script. You don't allow to be very creative about that. Somehow a little bit, yes, but you have to follow the script. And karma is like a script for your life. And there are two types of script, let's say. One is very openly, it's out of your own joy, and another part is not like that. So, and the first part is not karma at the end, but the second part is. So the first part is like when you choose to go to a restaurant, when you choose to go to a movie, then you go there because it's your greatest joy to watch that movie and not another movie, to eat that meal, not another meal. So you choose that out of your greatest joy. Maybe you think only it's great joy, but it isn't, but we'll see. At the end, you start, this is the greatest joy. I want to experience this. And this is the first script. And this is when you come into your life, usually you should only have that one script. You come into your life like you come into a movie and say, let's experience that great movie because I think it's the most joyful one. It's the most interesting one. It's the most powerful one, giving me some thrill, some interesting experiences, like in any movie too. It's the same copy we do in the cinema than we do in daily life. This, if you could live that, this is called the flow. If you can live your greatest joy, that's flow. This is the words I'm using for this, yeah? So you can also exchange them if you like. But life sometimes doesn't feel like being in flow, like being in the greatest joy, being in greatest love and peace and harmony, etc. It's not like this. Why? Because when you have one script, then maybe there are part of the script you don't like. It's like you're choosing to fly from India to Hawaii. And maybe you love to experience Hawaii, but in the meanwhile, you need to go there to experience that movie of Hawaii. You have another movie, it's called Airplane. And inside the airplane, you have a bad air, you have bad food, etc. But it's part of the whole movie of how going to Hawaii. So maybe there are parts of that movie we don't like. And then when we don't like these things and we think, well, I don't like that part of the movie, then we start to resist. When you start to resist that, you start to resist the script. And then the problem starts, because that's now where the free will starts. Just imagine, for now, if you don't know yet, that you're a divine being. And as a divine being, you have one problem. Your will be done. It's like a king of a country. You want something that will be done without any doubt. And that's the problem. When you choose to experience a script, like going to Hawaii, and then, so your first will was, I want to go to Hawaii. And then parts of that script is happening, like the airplane. And then you say, I don't want that script anymore. Now you have a problem, because you have the first free will telling, I want that. And the second free will, I don't want that. You see what's happening? So the king, I don't know the English name now. They have two forces from the same source, and they are opposing each other. So your own free will is resisting your own free will at the same time. And then what happens is this script stops. It's like you have energy flowing to evolve that first script, and now you have a second energy saying, no, stop that, I don't like to experience that. And then you get a stuck state. And this is the energy which doesn't flow anymore. And it feels like it's over, because in the stuck state, you think, well, there is nothing, I don't feel it anymore, because for experience something, energy has to flow. It's like air. If air is still, you don't feel it. You have to, it has to move like in wind to feel it. And so there are two types of not feeling it. The first, because it's by peace, it's just doing nothing. And the second is because it's a stuck state, also doing nothing, but a completely different reason. And you think, well, then I don't experience that because it's not moving anymore. The energy is not moving. Yeah, it's not moving because you're resisting your own free will. And this part of the script, because your first free will is not over, it's not erased. It's still in duty to give you the experience of the airplane. But it's just in a stuck state. So like the movie stops in the middle of the film. So now that's part of the script. You make a bypass. You say, no, I want to experience the first part. I don't want to experience this part. And I again want to experience the last part. So you have a middle part you didn't like to experience by resisting it. Well, since the first free will still is in duty to make you and offer you and make you the movie of experience that part too, and it's just in a stuck state, you take that with you in your next life. So now you have a next life. You have a new script. You say, no, I want to go to somewhere else. I want to go to Italy. But you have parts of the first script of going to Hawaii because it's not over, you see? And now you have a problem. You have a new movie going on with scripts who don't fit anymore. So karma, and at the end, is like you have a map of Cairo and you use it in New York. It won't work. And that's how our karma is. Karma is stuck small movie scripts of past lives who are in a stuck state and waiting for you to still experience them. And we don't have one or two or three. We have hundreds of thousands of them. So we have a lot of scripts going on, try to overtake, try to go on. And that's the reason why. For example, maybe you're walking by a street and there's some person coming to you and you feel, oh, I don't like that person. If you don't know the person, but you don't like it. You don't know why you don't like them, but you don't like them. Maybe because the haircut was the same like of somebody from your past partner and he didn't treat you well and you hate that partner. You don't like it. You get sad, you get angry when you think about a partner. And now you have the same haircut and it reminds you subconsciously about your past experiences. And so this, if it's a new experience, a different person, maybe similar haircut, the old movie starts. So the old script starts in a current script. So the past, let's say inner movie, you see the past inner movie of your partner while you see a new person. And of course, then you will not completely be open to the experience. You won't be very honest to yourself and to the other person, of course, because you have some strange ideas about going on. Like you feel sad, you don't know why. So you behave like being sad to a new person. You know how that works? Or you go to work and you're angry about your boss. Most people take this anger and go to another room, let's say, like another part of their life, like their family, and then they release their anger that they had from their job. It's the same principle. So you take one script from a completely different area, like your job, and you play it out at another area where it shouldn't be. Your anger should be where it is and not where you like it to be. Maybe it's easier to release your anger with your family because they can take it, but because you're fearful to release your anger towards your boss, maybe you get fired about that. So you take the script from here to there, but here it doesn't make sense anymore. It will always be harmful because your family, of course, there's no reason to be angry about them. You understand? So this is what karma was working. We take some parts, like some emotions, some ideas, some body feelings, and put it somewhere else in another room, another area of your life, or in another life at the end. So the very severe scripts you have, you take them not to only from your job to your family some hours later, you take them from one life to the next life. And we do this all the time. But at the end, you should just leave them where they are, but that's the solution for later in the webinar we have here. So I hope this is understandable until now, what I mean, how karma works. So you have scripts, old scripts in some areas of your life where they make no use, they make no sense. And you still use them because you have that feeling, you are urged to do that because the free will you did before, as I told you, I want to experience that, is just running over you. And you can't, at the end, you can't resist it if you don't know how to do that. Yes, so I think this is now karma is more clear. I think we have now the need to understand how that works and just to stop that. To stop using the map from one country in another country because this won't work. To use the script from one life in another life because this doesn't work. One then question is how we do that. Of course, how we can drop the scripts from past lives. So we are very open, we have no prejudice, we have no any kind of automatic feelings, automatic thoughts we have in that current situation. So you are 100% open. This automatic, this conditioned only comes because we haven't finished our past scripts. And this is what meditation is about at the end, to finish scripts, to finish any feelings you have left over from anywhere, doesn't matter from where it is. And it's very simple if you understand meditation. It's like when you go to the kitchen and you have some dirt on the table, you don't care about how old that dirt is. It's from 5 minutes ago, it's from 10 lives ago, it's the same dirt. Only our ego is telling us, well, if something is, you take it for 10 lives, it's more difficult to clean that up than something which is maybe only for some days or some hours or some years. No, it's not the case, because if you have the right cleaning cleaning way, it doesn't matter how old this thing is on your body that you have, you just clean it up. And I think meditation is the general cleaning tool. Like when you're a painter, you have so many colors you can paint, but you have only one solution to erase that. And this turpentine, you use turpentine for all the colors. You don't need specific turpentine for specific problems, for specific colors. You have only one for all of them. And that's the same here. You don't, at the end, I found out, in my experience, you have to find out for yourself too, you don't have, for every problems of your life, you don't need specific solutions. It's always the same solution for all your problems. And it's the same thing. Like if you have a shadow, you need just light. That's it. You don't need specific parts of light, you need just light. And then the shadow has to vanish without any fighting going on. So that's about karma. If you have questions, then please write down. The other, for later, the other part is the free will. And this is somehow, for me, a little new topic I'm covering since some years, because I think that's the most important one, because I didn't understand how this works. I felt in my life meditation is working, but I don't know why. Well, at the end, it's very simple. When you meditate, maybe you sit down and you make a silent meditation. There are different kinds of your silent meditation. You just sit down and you do, at the end, you do nothing. And maybe you're sitting down and you get very hot and you're sweating. You don't know why, because the room is not hot, but now you're sweating a lot. Maybe you're releasing some fire element out of your system, like some anger you had some years or some lives ago, which you didn't release at that time. You sit down, you get sad. You don't know why, because nothing happened now to make you sad, but you feel sad in meditation. Why? Because now you release that sadness in that script. It means meditation is like this. You have the first free will, I want to experience that. Then you have the second free will, no, I don't want, because it's not tasty anymore. Then you make a stuck state. Meditation says, don't resist anymore your free will. Don't resist what you have chosen to experience. And then you stop resisting, you're just surrendering. That's why, for me, meditation, true meditation is surrendering. You just surrender to whatever comes up. And then what comes up is just the first thing that was in a stuck state, and now the energy is again flowing, and by flowing, you can feel them as emotion, as a body experience, or as a thought, doesn't matter at the end. And then strange thoughts come to your mind, strange emotions come, strange body feelings come, which have nothing to do with the current situation, but they come from somewhere, and then they're released because you experience them. If you try to resist these experiences, then, because your first free will has to be done, it means you need more and more resistance with time to not experience that. And then it will explode. And since the script has some kind of gravitational force to give you situations which make it very easy for you to experience that part of situation. So it means when you have a script, it attracts everything, like people and coincidences, attracts everything you need to make that movie happen. So when you resist experience, it's a guarantee it will happen. You understand that maybe? Because resisting is, first you have the first energy flowing, your first free will. And you have your second free will resisting that. Now we have more force going on about the same topic. And at the end, the first one, which attracts that, is at the end the same thing, because we just think that resistance is working. Resistance is, you have let's say, only one function in creation. It's attraction. It's gravitational force. And if you try to resist, you just say in yourself, I don't want to attract that. I don't want to experience that. You know how that works. I don't want to think about blue. Then you think about blue. It means the sentence I don't want is gravitational. So you have here the force of gravitational, I want to experience that. And you have a second one, just in your mind saying, no, I don't want that. But I don't want that means I don't want, you say, I want blue, I don't want blue, but the same in your mind is the same blue. So you have double blue. Because you understand how mind works. The mind, I found out, to make it very easy now, is like a copy machine, nothing else. What you give inside will be copied. If the only thing, the only way to make it not copy something, don't put anything inside your mind. If you put it in your mind, it will be copied. It doesn't matter if you say, I want that, I don't want that, doesn't matter. It's the same copy machine because you put it in your mind. So the more you're fearful about something, this is maybe some side hint for you, fears are gravitational. If you fear something, of course your mind is full of that, what you're fearful of. And by this, you give it in the copy machine, make more of that. And you will experience what you're fearful of. If you fear to stumble, you will stumble. You'll find out that. Because you didn't understand, well, to not copy that, to make it not happen, I just to stop the feelings about what I'm fearful of. That's all. But one important thing, without ignoring them. ignorance is also gravitational, because ignorance is a creation. Very simple, just to explain that. We need that later for using the free will, yes? It's like, just, we have a lamp, and here's me. And I just shortly teach you how ignorance works, because I think ignorance, also Buddhists say that, ignorance is the most severe mechanism we use against ourselves. And if you understand how that works, you can understand how you ignore things in your life. And by ignoring them, you attract what you want to ignore even deeper. And you have a bigger copy machine running to give you what to try to ignore. So the more you run away from something, the more it will be created. Very simple. Just look at me first, and then look at that lamp on the side of me. And now look back to me. But now you look to the lamp because you want to ignore me. You don't want to see me anymore. You want to see the lamp. What happens in your mind? You will feel you have something behind your mind. You have attraction to see me first, coming back to me. You try to see that lamp, but you feel, no, it's a pulling back to me all the time, and you have to fix that lamp to see it and to ignore me. This is how ignorance works. It's just about, first, you use your free will. First, no, I want to see me, my face, and then next, I just to leave that aside. Now I see the lamp. This is free will. The second is a conditioned will, and this is ignorance. I want to see the lamp because I don't want to see you. So a free will has no condition, while the unfree will we are using most of the time, all the day, is a conditioned will, not a free will. We use it because. I want to do that because. There is a because in that. In the free will, there is no because. You just do it because you choose to do it. And that's, I think, a very important core element in the free will. Like a king of a country, he doesn't have to have because. He just decides, and that's it. He doesn't have to discuss with anybody about his decision. You decide it, and that's it. You decide, I want to move my view from here to there, and I do it just because I do it. But if you have a because, you have a reason why to do that, then you have a conditioning. So ignorance works like that. I want to see something else in my life because I don't want to experience that. And we usually do like this. Like, you have a suffering in your life, and because you don't want to have the suffering anymore, you want something else. So I want to have, let's say, abundance in my life because I don't want to suffer. Or if you ask yourself even deeper why you meditate, you can find out, I meditate because I want to get rid of that pain. That's ignorance. And then you use a conditioned free will. And you saw what happens like this. If you have a suffering here, and you have something like a meditation there, and you meditate because you don't want to suffer, the suffering, because you ignore it, goes back, and you have the pulling all the time back to the suffering. See how that works? So it won't work like this. So when you meditate, or what else you ever do it because you choose to do it. If you have a reason why you do that, you always have a conditioning. Nothing wrong about that. You just have to know you are enforcing the first idea. If you say, I meditate because I want to get rid of suffering, you are enforcing the suffering. You're pushing it deeper in your subconsciousness. And by this, it gets more power. So ask yourself, I do the same. When I go sit down for meditation, I ask for myself, why do I do that? And if the answer is a because, then I have to really know why. Nothing wrong with that. I just have to know the consequences. So I think the best reason for meditation is to not have a reason, just to enjoy yourself. Not because you want to resist something, you want to solve something, etc. And also this is a conditioned manifestation, what we're using. We are creating karma because we make a conditioned creation. Like most people who are suffering, then they are doing something to get rid of the suffering. Because you cannot cope with poverty in your life, you want to earn money. But the problem is your copy machine always copies the first thought first. So first thought is poverty, second thought is money. So the first thought is copied first, always. So you get more of that. So if you use money to solve poverty, you create more poverty. That's how universe works. If you want to create money because you want to create money, that's working. But it's very simple at the end. If you want to think of blue because you don't want to think of red, you see, it doesn't work. And you don't need it anyway. You don't need the red to think of blue. That's how we think. We need the first thing to make this next step to the another one. That doesn't work. Or some daily life example. Most people feel lonely. And because they don't want to feel lonely, they like to have a partner to not feel lonely anymore. This won't work at the end, because when the partner leaves your life, anyway, you feel lonely again. So you just put this loneliness deeper in your subconsciousness, and you create an artificial feeling not of lonely anymore, but loneliness is just waiting behind when the compensation is gone. So I would just recommend, ask yourself why you feel lonely and deal with this first. And there's a great saying, I don't know exactly who said that first, not by me. The way out of that is the way through that. I don't think loneliness is the problem, just to make it practical now here. It's more your resistance towards loneliness is the problem. If you feel inside, you find out, you think loneliness is something wrong. No, it isn't. If loneliness is something wrong, it wouldn't exist. So it means why it can be experienced. The divine says, yes, you can experience loneliness if you choose to do so. It's not wrong. And if you start to resist loneliness, then you're in a stuck state of feeling lonely all the time. I recommend, if you feel lonely, just for an example, celebrate loneliness. Allow yourself to be lonely. That's okay. It's not wrong to feel that. And there will be a time when this feeling of loneliness is completely felt. And then it's gone. It's like, make it more easy, when you feel sad, and when you allow this sadness, you feel that. Maybe you can't allow that with your family, tears with your family, tears with your partner, tears in your job because you have to function somehow. But when you're in your own room and nobody's watching, and now you're really allowed to be sad, then tears are running. And how do you feel when this whole big mountain of sadness coming over you, coming through you, and all tears are outside of your, not inside anymore, but outside of yourself? How you feel after that? You feel relieved. You feel lighter, because all loneliness was allowed to feel. The whole script I was talking about, the whole script about loneliness could run until it was over. Like all movies are over sometime. So not the loneliness is the problem, the resistance towards that is the problem. So if you allow the script of loneliness, allow the script of sadness or anger, doesn't matter, to run, you feel that because your body, all your cells are small projectors, like in a cinema. You have a 4D, 5D, 6D cinema always inside of you. Your whole body is a big cinema, giving you pictures, giving emotions, giving feelings, much better than any cinema can do that. Because this is not a metaphor. Your cells have the only duty to give you experiences. And they want to give the experience of sadness, and you resist that in a stuck state. Well, if you allow that, the movie goes on until it's over, and then you're relieved because the script is over. And at the end, this, if you go deeper, this feeling of relief because sadness is over, it's some kind of feeling of nothingness. There is no other emotion anymore. It's just empty. Yes, and that's the space we need. We need this empty space because from this is like the zero. The zero is the most important number, not one. If you ask people, just start counting, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, no, one is not the first number. Zero is the first number because that feeling of zero, and you all know that, when you don't have thoughts, when you don't have emotions, don't have body feelings, because no script is running, then you are in a very important state. I call that the state of all possibilities. You are in the realm of all possibilities. And now what you're choosing, now I want to do this, I want to experience that. This is the first impulse of starting a new script. Of course, you have to be very aware of what you're wishing to experience. Of course, like when you want to have the wish, I want to experience Hawaii. Maybe you end first at an airplane and you don't like it because you didn't understand it's part of the movie. That's how we create that. We didn't know it's part of the movie and it's necessary for that. So the sadness that you're feeling is necessary for the whole movie of your life at the end. All emotions are important. You will, all the feelings that you have, maybe you have lots of anger in your life, maybe you have lots of sadness in your life, or jealousy or loneliness, doesn't matter. If you have so much of these feelings, and also experiences on the outer part, like many things happen in your life which make you sad, only because the first script of sadness still was inside of you in a stuck state. And this script has a gravitational force to create something outside, to attract situations to make you sad, to start that script. And then something happens to make you sad again. You say, my life is so sad. Yes, because you keep the sadness always inside your heart. And by this, gravitationally attract everything that makes you sad. And you wonder because you have a sad life. So I recommend release that, allow to be sad. And when all the sadness is gone, then there's no sadness inside of you anymore. And then there's no gravitational force attracting things to make you sad anymore. For example, when you were younger, like children, you see that they have their toys. And here, some people know Maya, little girl, accompany me and Laura, 7.5 years old, and she has a little toy. And when that toy, it's a small teddy bear, if that toy gets wet, she cries tears because that's horror for her that their toy, beloved teddy, is wet. You as an adult, you think, well, it's wet, it will get dry again. Why try tears about that? Because you have a different relationship with sadness towards that toy. Now you have bigger toys, like your car. When your car doesn't get wet, but maybe you get a scratch, you get sad. But at the end, it's the same toy. It doesn't matter if it's a scratch or it's some teddy bear, doesn't matter. So you have to experience the whole area of being sad. So you can be sad about toys, like you were too, maybe. And when you're a child, you were sad because toys were broken, etc., etc. But now, because you were allowed to experience that sadness about toys, now it's gone. The script is gone because you got through that script. You know how it is to feel sad about toys, but for you, it's no sadness anymore because you understand, well, I know how you feel, but I know it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make it drier to be sad about a toy who's wet. You know that now because you were allowed to go through that feeling. And you'll feel the same. If you're allowed to feel sad about different parts of your life, less and less sadness will control you. So the more you experience sadness, the less you need the script to run through your life. Because at the end, we have chosen life to experience everything. This is why we've chosen to be alive, to experience all movies, all possible movies. And when you just imagine you experienced all movies who contain sadness. Well, then you don't get sad anymore. Only when you choose by your free will to get sad again. And that's the strange thing. You can, like an adult, you can choose to go in kindergarten if you like. You don't have to, but you can choose to. A child cannot choose. It has to be there. It can't go out. It's the same here. Later, we switch the topic. We switch. First, sadness controls us. For example, all emotions, yes, but just for example. Why? Because we have chosen to experience the whole area, whole creation about sadness. And when we experience the whole movies about sadness, then we are through that. And then, because we are now grown up spiritually, we are not controlled by the script anymore. But now we can start controlling the script. And we can say, now I want to get sad. But we can also say, no, I don't want to, because it doesn't make sense anymore. And that's why enlightened people don't get sad about what's going on the planet with all these sufferings, etc., because they say, well, if you're evolved enough, you just can use your free will and say, stop, I'm not sad anymore. But to be able to do that, you need to grow up and let sadness teach you how to choose sadness and how to drop sadness and how to leave sadness aside. This is how you use your free will. So first of all, to go back to the free will, to go deeper into that, to understand how you use your free will to restrict your free will. Because usually you can't say, no, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel lonely. I don't want to feel anger. When it's there, it's there. You can't choose that. So that's why I recommend, if it's there, allow it. Don't resist it. Surrender to it. Because at the end, you don't surrender to sadness. You surrender to your free will, to that script, to that experience. And that's maybe a bit tough for most people to understand. If you experience something, then only because you have chosen to experience that. If it's not true what I'm saying, there is no such thing as a free will. So if you're a victim all the time, then there is no reason to talk about free will. You'll find out there is a free will because you can choose, yes, I can get sad, I can cry tears. But since you are evolved and you know, yes, you cried about toys when you were a child, now you don't cry about toys anymore, maybe bigger ones, but not the small ones anymore. It's possible to rise above that, to rise above the feelings of sadness towards specific topics currently. But I say you can rise above all the emotions at the end and use them with your free will and not get used by them. So the question is how to do that. First, surrender. First, you have to understand what you experience only because you used your free will to start that script in your life. And some minor detail maybe, but I think it's an important one. You forgot about that you have chosen that shit in your life. Because maybe people say, how can I choose to have so much suffering in my life? Well, in a cinema, when is the experience the greatest one? If you don't know the movie, if you study the script before you go to the movie, if you remember you are the one who created the whole movie, if you start to remember I was every person in that movie, because at the end there's only one divine being. If you remember all that, you can't suffer, because you know that's all nonsense. It's only a movie. So the movie is then a great movie if you forget it's a movie. If you go in a cinema and you sit down in the chair, it's all that's happening there. It's only nonsense. Nothing of that happened. But if you forget about that, you are already drawn inside the movie and you feel it's real. So you have to forget it's nonsense. You have to forget you are the one who created all that. Then it's really enchanting. It's really, you can go deeper into the feelings. You can't go deeper if you say, maybe you're next to yourself in a cinema, you have somebody crying tears about it because the movie is some sad scenes. And you think, why crying? It's all nonsense. You see, the one is really, let's say, enjoying the movie because it's really emotionally inside the movie. And you say, well, I'm annoyed, not my movie anymore. But this is not how you choose life. You choose life to really have a lot of experiences and not to be annoyed all the time. So you have to forget you created all of this. You have to forget you created suffering. If you know you are the divine being, and if you remember you created everything and you have to free will to stop that like this, you will not be able to suffer. And the whole planet, I think, is the cinema of suffering. We all came here to explore all realms of suffering. So when you start using your free will, you will stop suffering. Maybe at the beginning you don't stop pain, but you stop the resistance towards pain, and you stop crying because there is pain, because you understand crying has no use about your pain, because it won't change the pain anyway. Like crying about a wet teddy doesn't make it dry. It's the same thing. Of course, there's the pain. There's a reason why pain is there, but to put suffering on top of pain makes it bigger than it is at the end. So it's here, what you're doing is about waking up in the cinema and understand, yes, it's a great movie, but I like to change the movie because I want to have another movie and not that suffering anymore. But to do that, first you have to surrender the movie. That's the trick, because you have to surrender to your own first free will. It's happening only because there's free will. You wanted to experience that cinema, and maybe there are parts where really suffering, but first you have to understand, I have chosen that. Because it only has to work like this. Why? If you resist your own free will, you say you don't have a free will. And you define your free will by your free will is wrong. So if you have an experience coming in your life and you resist that, you say, first, I didn't want that, even though you wanted that. First thing you do. Second thing is to say, my first free will is wrong. That by this you define the divine does wrong things because you are a divine being. So by resisting, you make a definition about yourself. You make a definition about your divine being. You say you can be wrong. No, you can't. It's like to say, well, blue is wrong and green is good. Yeah? Or yellow is bad and blue is good. That's nonsense, you see? Or to say 3 is a good number, but 2 is a bad number. You see, that's completely nonsense. And we do about these things. We say, this emotion is good, this emotion is bad. This emotion is right, and this is wrong. This doesn't make any sense. It's just an experience, like the experience of colors. Nothing good or bad about that. Sadness is sadness. And if you try to to change sadness to joy, it won't work. It's like changing blue to yellow. Try that. Try to change blue to yellow. It will not work. It's not possible. So if you experience blue, like you experience sadness, experience that fully until it's gone completely, and your whole biochemistry of your body, because at the end, it's only hormones in your bloodstream. But there's a small number of that. If you cry tears, then all the hormones are used to create the experience, and then they are gone. If you don't resist. Resistance means recreation. So any kind of reaction means a re-manifestation, a recreation. That's the problem we do all the time. So stop that. Surrender to your own will you had before. You said, it's just an experience. It's just like any color. I go through the experience because somehow that blue, that red, like this anger or this sadness, I have chosen to experience that. Now I take that, I take what I wanted. So this is, I found out the most interesting stuff we did about self-restriction, how we can diminish ourselves to play not being divine. You have only the free will. As a king, as a divine being, you can all that do as you like. So how do we get in such a diminished state of being? Like living only 80 years, don't be able to choose about things to happen. Very simple. We say, I don't want what I wanted. This is how you restrict your free will and to condition your free will. I don't want what I wanted. So by surrendering, that's the key. That's this mechanism, nothing else like that. You say, yes, I want what I wanted on the first place. And when you say, I want this suffering, I want this sadness, I want this anger, then the magic happens, because now you'll find out you have the free will back again about suffering. When you try to resist sadness, you can't change sadness. If you surrender to sadness, because it's there in your life anyway, it means you have chosen to feel that, you come back to your free will. I want to embrace the sadness in my life because somehow I have chosen to experience that. Then you get back your free will because you don't resist your free will anymore. Very logic, you see? And exactly then you can choose how to play that sadness, how to cry, how long do you want to cry. And if you, at the beginning, when you start to surrender and stop to resist sadness, because, well, you say, it's just an experience, just like a color. I want to go through my body, through my cells. It's a hormone experience, nothing like this, nothing more or less like this. But to explore sadness, you get more the explorer of sadness than the sufferer from sadness. And then you can get creative how you want to do that. And at the beginning, you will find out lots of tears are coming out outside of yourself. But there will be a day, I can promise that, when all realms of sadness are explored by yourself. Then there is no new movie anymore. How you will find out that? So, like for example, this is all true for all emotions. The more you allow sadness to experience in your life, the more you get back your free will about sadness, to choose it or to leave it. How to prove that? Well, it will happen like when things happen in your life that made you sad in your past life, like it made you sad yesterday, it made you sad a week ago, like people you love talking about things that make you sad. Things happening like bad weather or a bad salary or bad political something, or like coronavirus, something's going on that makes you sad. And it made you sad 1 week ago. But now you feel, yes, it makes me sad again, but not so severe than before. Maybe you're sad less deep than before, or not so time intensive. Maybe you were sad for 3 hours 1 week ago, and now you're sad only for 1 hour. Oh, then it means you have only part of the sadness, and the rest is gone out of your life. And there will be a day, if you don't stop doing like this, you'll find out, yes, you can choose. No, it's very important. No outer situation will make you sad anymore. And then the scene switches. First, you were like a flag in the wind, it's saying in Germany. Like sad things coming in your life try to make you sad, try to grip you in sadness. And they did 1 week ago maybe. And now you feel, yes, I feel the sadness around me, but it doesn't grip anymore, like you were empty. Yes, because you don't have sadness inside of you. If you don't have sadness inside of you anymore, then this frequency of sadness doesn't exist anymore inside of you. It's just emptiness. Emptiness, like when you were crying and all tears are outside, you have this feeling of emptiness. And then the frequency from something outside, because people around you are sad or situations try to create a sad feeling, and you feel, yes, there's sadness as an invitation of feeling sadness around you, like invitation to watch that movie or sadness around you. And you feel, yes, I can react. I can choose to react towards that. And then I also become sad. Or you can choose, no, I stay in emptiness and I just let it fly through me. And I choose, for example, to stay in joy. And then this is a very important next step we have as an evolution in our daily life. we can choose our emotions that we like to have. And I think that's the most important thing. And if I ask people in the workshops, doesn't matter if it's in Egypt or in India or in Thailand or in Germany, doesn't matter. If you can choose the emotions that you have, what emotions would that be? You'll find out all people answer the same things. Just ask yourself now, if you can really choose the emotion for the next hour, for the next day, for the next 10 years maybe, which emotions do you like to have? Nobody says, well, I like to experience loneliness for the next 3 years, or like to be sad for the next 2 hours. Nobody says like this. All say, I want to feel peace. I want to feel joy. I want to feel love. Huh? I want to feel thankfulness. I like these experiences. So the next step is how we can do so, how we can learn to choose our emotions. You have learned to move your hand. You can move your hand as you wish. Your body hormones are your body hormones. You haven't learned how to use them like your hand. How to say your glands which hormones they should release and which not. And you can learn that, but you have to learn that by going through the emotions. Like when you want to grow up, you have to go through childhood. It's the same thing. So when you go through sadness, you want to go through completely, you want to explore anger, you want to explore loneliness, you want to explore jealousy, all of these. You don't resist any colors of emotions anymore. Then you get enriched. And what happens when you get all colors? Then you have white. White is the combination at the end of all colors. No? If you don't say, no, this color I like, I don't like this color, well, then you are divided by the colors and you don't, white and again. And white at the end is enlightenment. If you say all colors are fine, there are some just experiences you can have, but we need all of them. Why this is important, this now for the end of my speech here, why this is so much important. It's all about the space of all possibilities. Creation is there as the cinema who can give you all possibilities, except one. One you can't have. You are. You cannot experience you are not. It's not possible. You are what you are. You cannot experience differently. But everything else you can choose. So this is the only exception you have. So what happens when you say, well, there is anger coming to your life and you say, no, anger is wrong. Anger has to be put out of creation. Well, what do? You have a space of infinity of all that there is. And now you say, from all that there is, this is wrong. What happens? All that there is has a border, has a wall, has a restriction. And by this, you diminish all that there is, because you say that's wrong. And we did this a lot of times. You say this is wrong, that is wrong, I don't want to be aware of this one, I don't want to be connected with that one, with these persons, this experience. And we did this so much that we don't have a free will anymore. Inside of all, we have because these restrictions come more and more and more, we have a very limited space left for the free will. Inside that little space, like which car I like to buy, which food I like to have, but it's so diminished, our free will, unbelievable. As a divine being with a complete free will, to be so restricted, we are the masters of self-restriction. We are the professionals about self-restriction by, I don't want what I wanted. That's how we do create karma. That's how we do create self-restriction, how we condition the free will and think there is no free will anymore. There is maybe not the time to talk about, because there are some scientific findings where they say there is no free will, because that you can find in your brain that's not true. Well, Yes, but they didn't ask meditators. That's the problem. They asked normal people. Normal people don't really have a free will. They read something in newspapers and they get sad or angry because what's written there, because they are only in a reaction all the time, in a re-manifestation, in resistance all the time. And by this, they get more and more stuck state, and they don't have that much free will anymore. So here it's about to get back your free will. And that's the best you can do, is to get back your free will is by surrendering to your former will. And by knowing all that's coming into your life, it's attracted only because you have chosen to experience that cinema. And by experiencing the cinema and not resisting anymore, the movie will go through and will end at some time. And at the end of every movie, light will come up. And then you'll find out, well, it's all in on movie. It's not take it serious that much, because it's only a nonsense going on. And that's why people say it's all Maya, it's all imagination. So you get back this realm of all possibilities, you get it back by stopping to resist your free will. First, don't resist, practice surrender. Try to find out, okay, this is happening in my life. This means I wanted it in my life. I surrender. I allow all feelings. And I allow to express all the feelings that I have. I show how I feel now. And by this, I go through. And then you get back your free will about that topic. So you can either choose to be in the movie, then the script is running you, or you can go outside of the movie by understanding that you choose the free will to run you. Understand? Maybe a little bit cracky for the mind to understand that, but I think it's at the end, it's very simple. So surrendering is the surrendering towards your free will only. And by this, you absorb your free will back into your being, and then you can use it more and more and more. So you get a master of the emotions and then a master of using the free will by allowing karma to happen first. The second is choose. Be very aware why you do something. As I talked about this ignorant thing with the lamp. When you start doing something, be very aware to not do it out of a reaction. As I told you, a reaction is a re-manifestation. A re-manifestation of something happening that you choose before. Of course, if you like to re-happen the same script, then you need to react to the same script. So you have to, let's say, train yourself to not react. And that's again surrendering. Surrendering is the art of not reacting to something. You feel sadness is coming up and you just allow it coming up, and you don't comment it, you don't react to it. You just allow it to happen. And by this, you get to the observer of sadness, and you're the observer of sadness. You're not in the script anymore, in the movie anymore. You are the watcher of the movie, and then you can choose, no, I just go and walk out of the cinema, because if you're in the script, you can't walk out. So you go in the observer by allowing, through surrendering that. I think that's somehow logical. That's one thing I can recommend, just to allow that. And because why is all movies created? Because you should enjoy that. So all your scripts are there to enjoy that. Even horror movies are enjoyed. So your duty is to find, how can I enjoy that suffering? When you start to enjoy any suffering, you get back your free will towards that suffering, and by this you can change the suffering, because you don't resist anymore. You see? Joy and surrender are the bridge back to your free will. Of course, the script is running, but while it's running, you are aware, well, the script is running, and I'm like some actor in the script, but then you can get creative how you want to do that. One part. The next is to train yourself to feel something because you choose to. I think the best meditation you can have, you can do that after maybe when you go to sleep for 5 minutes, or even after a webinar later, because it's late, I think, in India then. Just you choose, I sit down because I want to experience love. That's it. Not to experience love because I'm lonely. You see? That's not the reason. You choose to experience love because you want to experience love. That's the only reason you have. For half an hour, you sit down, you say, okay, I ask myself, how much love do I feel now? Then maybe some comments come in your mind. Oh, I don't feel so much love that I like to have. Yes, that's maybe true, but that doesn't matter. You will always find some love inside of yourself, or some peace, or some joy. Doesn't matter what you choose for which emotion you like to have. So now, like you learn to walk, now you can walk. You learn to talk and you can talk. And by this, you learn how to choose your emotion, to sit down, do nothing else. And now I choose love, or I choose peace, I choose joy. It doesn't matter what you choose. I choose this feeling by remembering the feeling, or by feeling how much peace do I have now. Maybe only 5% than you felt last week, doesn't matter. And you take the 5% and you enjoy these 5%. Or you remember something, some nice coincidence where you have some joy in your life. Then you leave the memory behind and you just feel the joy. And you stay with that joy as much as you can for maybe half an hour, for an hour. By this, you train to feel joy by choice. And if you do that for some days, this will be very helpful for your daily life, because maybe there's some situation out there which used to make you angry before, but now you have a new tool of choice, and there you can say, no, I choose to stay in joy because I want to. That's the only reason. There's no excuse for that. I do not have to explain why you choose that. You choose that because that is self-respect. This is self-love, to be able to choose your emotions. And you can train that. And it's at the end, it's not very difficult. If it's not possible, maybe you feel there is sadness in your life because of some situation, then the magic trick is, I say, yes, there is sadness in my life. I don't ignore the sadness because it's running through my blood. It's there. I surrender to sadness. But yeah, it's a trick. At the same time, I switch on joy. And now you have two kinds of hormones in your physical body running. And this is like you have a dark emotion and a lightful emotion in the same time. And what happens when you switch on the light when there is darkness? You know, darkness has to vanish. And that's the trick. The trick is to be able to choose to switch on joy or peace or love whenever you like, whatever happens, in all situations, with all people, with all beings, with all whatever happens at all times and places. You can choose, now I want to switch on love, I want to switch on joy, I want to switch on peace. Even though there is jealousy running, there's sadness running, there's anger running, doesn't matter what's running also. But here we have the rainbow colors of emotions, but I switch on the sun. And then who's the boss? The rainbow or the sun? And then you will find out by your own experience which emotion is more powerful. Yeah? So I would say that's long speech, almost 1/2 an hour. And now is your time. Whatever questions you have to ask.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. If you guys can put your hand up on the Zoom so that I can see how many of you want to ask questions, and then we go ahead.
Anu, can I go first because I have another webinar?
Sure, Niv. Go ahead.
Hi, Abuna. Lovely to see you after the conference in Mumbai after 2017. I get to see you today, and it was wonderful doing the Zen meditation with you in Mumbai. So it was a wonderful, wonderful session on karma and free will. And thank you so much for this session. And the lovely takeaways from this session on karma and free will. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say thank you so much. And I really loved the statements that you made, like karma is, you know, your karma is basically that you're stuck in your past scripts. And it's all about making a choice, you know, choose love, choose peace. And I also liked your, like you saying, it's all about switching on the light, and it is up to us what we wish to choose to switch on. Thank you so much. Lots of love and lovely being here. Bye.
You're welcome. Just one more small thing, maybe. Remember, don't switch on the light to fight darkness. Light never has anything to do with fighting darkness. This is only Hollywood. If you go to your cellar and there's darkness there and you switch on the light, you won't fight any fighting of the darkness and the light who wins. It doesn't happen like that. It's only in our mind. You just choose to switch on the light, and darkness has to surrender without fighting. If you start fighting darkness, you are not in the light, because the light doesn't fight. The divine never fights, because everything is created out of the divine. So why fight anything? So if you think you are in the light and you fight darkness, you're not in the light.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We go to the next person. Gina, you would like to ask a question?
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to ask, if I have an experience A, and that experience is not happening, it brings me sadness, so then I choose an experience B. So I have my first free will that's not happening, my second free will that I'm hoping that might happen, I don't know. So I'm supposed to surrender to my second free will, because actually it was conditioned by my initial experience that never happened. So I surrendered to both, and that's how I feel that I have let go truly.
Yes. Yes, true. Because your duty is not to create. Your duty is only to choose. And everything else will be done for you. Like going to a restaurant, you choose what you want. You don't go in the kitchen and cook for yourself. Means when you choose something and this doesn't happen in your life, then usually this is only the case because you didn't use your free will. Like, for example, you have chosen abundance, but you have only experience of lacking something all the time. At the end, when you find out why I have chosen to attract abundance, then only you try to resist lacking something all the time. And by this, you put lacking all the time something in the copy machine. So you can't attract abundance. It's important. So always ask yourself, why do I do that? And if you attract something differently, then at the end you'll find out, yes, this was my first thought. I want to go to blue because I want to avoid red. And that's why I get red all the time in my life. So to surrender to both at the end, it's like cleaning. It's like, yes, what experience I've chosen without knowing how the copy machine works, but it copied that for me. So it means I must have put that inside. So I have to surrender to that. But this gets experienced it, and then by this gets cleaned, and then I can choose a new free will. But then I choose it more wisely, without any without any resistance. You choose abundance because you want to experience abundance, and not because to avoid anything else. So the key is just to remind here, we have two forces. Well, time is lacking to explain that. We have two forces. One is peace, one is love.
Don't worry about the time. Don't worry about the time. We have enough time. Yeah.
Yes. So love is attracting. Peace is repelling. Very important. Love is attracting, peace is repelling. So when you don't want to experience something in your life, it means if you don't want to put something in the copy machine of creation, leave it in peace. And you will find out all problems that you have in all parts of your life, you choose to not be in peace with that problem. I will bet all what I have that this is true. You need, because you attract it because some part of you wants that. Again, so the attracting machine love towards that is there. But at the same time, if the repelling part, it means if you want to have something in your life, love it. But very important, be in peace with everything else. And that's the trick. And this is what we are not. We are not in peace with everything else. That's the problem. Just a second. Somebody coming to my door. Second. Alles klar. Bis später. Jo. That was just Maya coming back. So, I hope this is, in short, made clear. That's so you find out why it's important to train to be in peace. So when you experience something in your life, it means you need an attracting machine doing that. And this is love. All the time repeating that. By resisting is also gravitational. Long to explain. So try to find peace inside yourself. You know how peace feels like. Not everyone knows how peace feels like. And just choose to feel peace while this is happening, which you don't want. At the same time. So you are attracting something. At the same time, I'm in peace with that, which is at the end surrendering, you see? And by this, the attracting force gets diminished more and more, and then it's getting to zero, because you have the attracting force, you have the repelling force, because out of peace. And when the repelling force, when peace is as much as love, it's zero. And then you will find out you don't attract it anymore. You repel it, and it is not part of your life anymore. So it is very important to find peace with your problems. Otherwise, you will recreate them all the time.
So sorry, thanks a lot. Just one more question. What do you do if you feel that you are doing everything you can to surrender something, but you still have not clearly reached that stage yet?
Yes, surrender is, well, an art at the end. That's why it's difficult to surrender. First, I recommend to start to express it. Because when you have difficulties to surrender, it means you have, let's say here, the problem here, the creation here that you don't like. And it's not about the creation you don't like. We try to change it all the time, but you can't change blue. Blue is blue. You can't change it to red. It's not possible. This is magic. It doesn't work like this. So it's not about the problem. It's about the part in you who tries to resist the problem. So first, I recommend, don't resist it, celebrate it. If you're angry, celebrate anger. If you're sad, celebrate that. If you're lonely, celebrate that. Be sad, angry, or lonely, authentic. Do it completely. So you can see it in your face, you can hear it in your voice, in your body, in your deeds. I am sadness now. And by this, it gets through your body, in your movies, your cells, and by this, it's the movie's over sometime. So first, go in expression of what you try to resist. And by expression, you'll find out later, expression is not needed anymore. It just switches to surrendering, to allow all feelings to come up, all emotions, all thoughts to come up without the need of expression. So expression is the bridge to surrender.
Thank you so much. We go to Dr. Kwesi. He wants to ask a question.
Yes, hi, I'm Stefan. Good evening. The question, Stefan, is with
Now your
muted.
Microphone is muted.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, Stefan. Good evening, everybody. Can you just share how it also works with pain? Because a lot of people experience pain, and how can they be with the pain and be at peace?
Oh, okay. Yes, but small but. It's like when you learn to walk. It's when you're a baby, you don't go to a marathon. You have to start with some first steps, and then you grow up with that, and then you can make the marathon. So first, I recommend we start to deal with emotions and thoughts first, because it's much easier to get a free will towards letting surrender to emotions, and then by this switch it to have a free will towards emotions, to choose them as you like. This is, for many people who have a daily life, it takes some months or even years maybe to manage that, but I really can recommend that, because your life is different when you choose to be in joy all the time, when you like to do so. But you can also choose to be in anger if it's needed sometime. Like, for example, side effect only, there was a woman in Egypt who couldn't express anger. And I felt that, because she doesn't know how to do that, because she always was taught to suppress anger. I said, well, then I felt her anger, I put it in my body, and I get really angry. Then she starts smiling, and then she understands, now I know how to express that. And then she can do that. So there's nothing wrong with anger if you can choose to do so. For helping people for something, for having some experiences. But here it's more to deal with your hormones about emotions first, and then you go deeper to your physical body. It's the same principle, but physical pain, or even all what your blood and flesh is made of, is a more condensed version in energy regarding your emotional state. So like changing your thoughts is relatively easy. To think about blue now and then think about red next, it's very easy, everyone can do that. But to switch from sadness to joy, that's tough for most people just by doing like this. And this is the step I'm talking about here. That's the emotional level. And if you can do that, the more you can do that, then you find out, and this is what I'm training also for me now, because it's much more difficult to switch the physical parts, to switch from any feeling of density, of weight, or of pain, like you talked about, to switch to another feeling. It's the same principle, but there's so much more energy in pain than it is in anger. It's much more pain. And to switch that, you must be able to do a marathon energetically. And for me, it's the same thing. It's difficult. So first, I recommend, if you want to start to deal with pain or any other physical feeling, find out what is resisting the pain. What part of you is telling pain is wrong, pain is an illness? How you do define pain? And you find out inside of you there is a mechanism. Pain is a problem. Pain is a failure of nature, or something like that. Like illness, something like this. It's not. It's like to say red is a failure of nature. No, it's not. It's just some kind of expression. It's like here, pain is an expression. It's not a failure. It's not wrong in the system or something like that. So first, how you comment inside of yourself towards the pain, to deal with that, because this comment is a resistance. And this resistance makes it very difficult for yourself to change that. And then at the end, when you don't have an inner comment, inner resistance towards pain anymore, then only you are able to feel pain as it is and not how you like it to be. And that's very important, because when you feel how it is, then you can start to do some changes towards the pain. Like, for example, what I'm doing experiments now, but it's well, more difficult than with emotions, is I found out to have pain, you need a small space. Like when you resist pain and you comment pain, define pain, you give pain very little space only in your mind. And by this condensed pain, it's like you have a fireball and you make it very dense, and by this it becomes pain. So you try to give it no space inside of yourself by resisting. And you think by giving no space, it will vanish. No, it won't. It gets more dense, and by this gets more hot, and by this gets more pain. That's the problem. So here, you have to find out how to deal with space. I think there are more ways to deal with that, but one way with space means you give pain more space. In your mind is very important, because when you think your physical body is what you are, your mind gets the form, becomes a form of the physical body. But the mind at the end has no form. The body, physical body, yes, but the mind not. So you have to understand, when you have a pain in your knee, for example, you only think the pain is in your knee. But by this, you make it condensed in a small space in your knee, and then you put resistance on that. You say, I don't want to feel that. And then by this, it gets more pain and more of this. Here, you need to know, no, pain is just a condensed version of the fire element. And now I give it more space. Now I feel like my knee has the double size. How would your knee feel like if it has a double size? At the beginning, it's difficult when you think you are the physical body. But at the time, you can expand your mind, and you can feel something. Like when you have your hand now like this, try to feel the atmosphere above your hand, surrounding your fingers. And if you do that for 5, 10, 15 minutes, you feel like your hand is growing, like your hand is a big hand. And this is what I'm meaning here. If you give this pain in your knee more space by expanding your awareness surrounding your knee, then this pain gets more space, and then you'll find the pain is less severe, but it will turn to heat. That's what it is at the end. And this is what I'm experimenting currently, but it's, well, even difficult for me to do so. Emotions is very easy for me after some years to switch whatever I like. But with physical feelings, it's difficult for me. But I found it's the same principle, and that's one way to deal with that. I think there are more ways to deal with that, but of course I will teach that when I'm good at it. Not yet.
Thank you.
I like the way you accept that there are certain things that are difficult for you, and that's what makes you so human and practical. Thank you for that. Let's go to Newton. Newton, you have a question? Newton?
Yes. Hello, Anu.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a question, but I think it's been answered. The questions were like how to clean the past karma and how to find out whether it is past life karma. I mean, it is past karma. So, can you please throw some light on this, please?
Yeah, sure. At the end, most experiences are of past karma. Because, well, let's say whatever you experience where you find out you cannot choose to change that is a karmic one. So either you have a free will and you can do what you like, or you have a script running. And when you have a script running and you're forced to be the actor in that script, you cannot change it as the actor, you can't change it. So when you find, oh, I have this or that emotion and I can't instantly just say, no, I want to switch it to something else, it means it's a karmic experience. And then, well, as I told, surrender to that, that's most important, and also train to be in peace, love, and joy inside of being an actor. Why? This is the key. I didn't explain that because we have divine qualities, and peace, love, and joy are divine qualities. But important is unconditionally. So not love because, peace because, or joy because. It's joy because it's joy. There's no reason for that joy. Then you have the divine qualities. And by remembering a divine quality, inside of this role, inside of this being an actor, you remember, I am not the role, I'm the one who plays the role. And by this remembering, you can change how to play that. So at the beginning, it will be difficult to leave the whole movie. I don't think most people will manage that, but you will manage how you will play the movie. So how you like to express sadness, how you express anger, etc. This will change first. So first you get maybe mad about, you're so angry you say things you didn't want to say. You're completely forced in the script to do whatever like a puppet. But now, then you find out now, okay, I feel I'm angry, but now you can choose which words you use. And that's the most important thing. And so this is the first step. So whatever comes to your life, this is one step. Yeah, another step you can find out is this karmic or not is if it triggers something inside of you. Because all movies, as I said, are created only by yourself to entertain yourself. By this, something inside of you must be there as attracting force to attract that situation. And this is of the exact same quality than the outer thing. And by this, there will be resonance. And by this, you find out something happens and you feel touched by that. You feel you are react by this. And then you are bang in the movie. Yeah? So whenever you react to something, it means you are invited to play that movie. And we are learning through surrender and free will to stop reacting, to say, yes, I got the invitation from the past script of my past lives. I got the invitation by what's going on here, but now I choose through my free will, because I can stay in peace to say, no, yes, I accept I wanted that. Like I accepted in a restaurant, I wanted the French fries, but I say, no, I don't want it anymore. Nothing against French fries. I don't fight the French fries. I don't fight the situation. Very important. I say, yes, that's an invitation, but I just don't act of what's your choice. I choose whatever I like to do. That's why one very important thing maybe regarding Corona currently, we have currently many invitations about what will go on with the planet. We have one invitation, horror scenarios, what's going on with slavery and chips and whatever you like. You have many information about a world going to darkness, but that's only a movie, and it's an invitation. If you get fearful towards that, it means fear is reacting to that, and by this you are drawn in that movie. If you're in peace, which, yes, that's a possibility, that the world will end in darkness, I'm in peace with that, then you detach from that script and you say, yes, I can go into, but I don't have to anymore. But if this doesn't work, if fear doesn't work anymore, then we have a second side. And this is, I hope maybe Queasy is helping me, Verführung. Was heißt Verführung auf English? This is just German currently.
Verführung, if you are seduced.
Seduced, yeah. Thanks. If you don't, fear doesn't work. Seduction works. Then you have scenarios of how beautifully everything will work out. This is all great because we have all general income for everyone. There are heroes helping us and getting us to another world of infinite possibilities. This is just what's the name again? The word again.
Seduce.
Queasy.
Seduce.
Seduction, yeah.
Seduce.
I forgot about that word. My past lives about that, the topic. So seduction. So when fear doesn't work, seduction will try to seduce you to take that script. I would recommend currently to choose no script. The problem is to choose scripts anyway, because by this you are defining. You say this way is love, or you say this way is love. You define how love should do that. I said, well, don't do that anymore. Let love choose that. You choose to stay in love. You choose to stay in peace, to not react any of these scripts, just to stay in love and say, I don't choose. I just put love here and love will do the rest. Love is in the charge to create a new world. I don't do that. It's not my duty. Love will do that. And I think that's much more beautiful than to react to some of these scripts that we are currently having here on the planet.
Wonderful. That was so beautifully answered. Let's go to the next person, Amita.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anu.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much. I just want to know, as you explained, that we should let love choose and do the thing, but sometimes situations, I just don't feel that it's in control, because there are certain things that are not in our control. When we are working in our family, we do get angry. And also in terms of workspace, currently the profile that I am in, although my organization is very good, I have few of my colleagues are really best colleagues that are means more than friend, not just colleagues. But still I am not happy with my profile, but I am doing it because I have to do it. How does it improve the things that I get what I want? I want to do something that give me happiness, and I really want to be happy. How do we do that?
Well, I think everyone wants to be happy. Well,
Yes.
and that's the next step that we are talking about here, to make it more clear. Well, first we thought that our life has to make us happy. So things need to happen, like our job, family, etc., fortune, whatever, only when the outer world is working like I like it to work, I feel happiness. And I think you found out this doesn't work. Yes, because there is one thing in life which is intrinsic part of life. Everything is changing. You can't change that. So if you maybe something happens, you wish something, it happens, and you enjoy that, you are enjoy. This will change because this is part of life. Everything has to change. That's the problem. So you will never find joy outside. That's the problem. So I can recommend two things. First thing is just to train to be in joy because you choose to be in joy. As I recommended, just sit down in the evening before you go to sleep, maybe half an hour, even when you lie down until you fall to sleep. Now I feel happiness just because I choose happiness. There is no reason for that. No outer reason, just because my choice. If there is an outer reason, you are a puppet of that outer reason. It will do whatever it likes with you. But you say, no, my choice is the reason because I feel joy, then it's your duty to switch it on or off. But nothing outside can do that anymore for you. So if in your life something comes which makes you angry, then only because until then you have chosen that anger and this situation, you wanted to experience it more than peace, love, or joy. But that's only a definition. You see people, people eat bananas and they enjoy it. People eat bananas and don't enjoy it. So it's not about a banana. Banana doesn't care if you enjoy it or not. It's the same banana. So it's about your choice, what you want to enjoy or not. And if you cannot enjoy your work, then only because you think, no, in this work, there is no joy. By this, you make some definition about yourself because creation is coming from the creator. Since it's coming from the creator, the qualities of the creator are in creation. Means there is no time, there is no space, there is no situation, no being where there is not joy, where there is not love or peace. If you say, no, there is no peace, then only because you define it that there is no peace. It's like you are outside looking into darkness and you say, there is only darkness in this world, in this realm of experience, but the sun is behind you. You have to just turn around. So your duty is to find out how can this suffering be enjoyed? And then you find out it only can be enjoyed when you choose to enjoy it.
How bad is it?
And then then the important thing is you don't have to do it anymore, because joy is also the bridge to inspiration. Then you know how you have to change that in your daily life, in your job, etc. You get inspiration how to change that, so also the outer world is an expression of the inner joy. So you have to start inside to feel joy, whatever is outside, and then to reflect it on the outside, because you start to walk in joy, you start to speak in joy, you start to act in joy all your life, and then your life will change. If you wait that joy has to be given to you inside of you, you are leaving your complete divine qualities. By this you define, I am not divine because I don't have joy. The job has to give me joy. I am not joy. Well, you are joy at the end. You just don't use it. Just switch your view. And just, for example, we have one guy, he said, well, I don't feel in a meditative mood like peace, love, and joy in my work. I said, well, the most important thing then is to do what I would do is, if you feel darkness in some part of your life, put exactly there, put some light. Means go there, sit down and meditate at your work. Find peace, joy inside of you first. In the morning, just go there 50 minutes earlier, sit down, feel joy and peace, and then start working. And by this, because the computer is touched by joy, your people you're talking with them enjoy, etc. This has to change something.
Thank you so much. I'll try that.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else have a question? Yes, Uma, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Uma. Yes, Uma, we can hear you.
Yes. Hello, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you for your knowledge. I want to ask something. Why do we keep attracting the same people in our lives? And how to cut off that karma?
Yes, yes, yes. Also, we are masters of recreation, as I told. That's the same thing. If you attract the same people or the same situations, so recurring situations, doesn't matter if people or whatever, it means there must be some automatic motor magnet going on in your life. So that means you are somehow reacting all the time the same thing. So you attract something, for example, make it very simple. You attract, I like it, French fries in your life. And then French fries are given into your life and you say, no, I don't want French fries. What do you think about French fries? And what you think about at the same time with emotion, with pushing away, then the copy machine of creation says, oh, you said French fries? Okay, you get French fries. By this, you get more French fries. The first French fries are not gone. And by reacting to the first order, French fries are delivered. I don't want French fries. You put it again in your mind, and the second portion is ordered. Then 2 portions coming next time. You said, no, I don't want that. I said, no, I don't want French fries. You put again French fries in your mind and get even more of that. And by this, you repeat it all the time. Usually until you are forcefully surrendered by, that's called giving up. You say, I cannot resist anymore. That's just too tough. And then you, by not pushing, you don't have enough power to push away that many fries in your life anymore. And by this forceful surrender, giving up, then you find out, then the solution is there because it's gone. So if you recreate, it means first there must be some attracting force, and this is love all the time inside of you. So find out, what do you love regarding that situation if you attract that. Of course, there are parts you don't like that's why I don't want to have that anymore. But there must be some love inside, which is even deeper regarding this. For example, if you as a woman and you loved your father and he died and you want your father back, then you will attract a husband who has the qualities of a father, because you want that. But at the same time, if you said, well, there are specific topics about my father that you hated, that you were fearful of, since also this puts the fearful thoughts in your mind or the hatred in your mind, at the same time you attract also to say the same thing. So what you don't want about your partner, you will attract as a partner, because resistance is creating. Why? Just for explanation here, I like to make some exercises regarding that, but not possible here in webinar, because I do in the workshops. So if you attract that, it means there must be some love, and you have to find out where that core of love inside of you is. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wants to ask questions? Okay, go ahead, Archana. Dr. Archana.
Hi, it was a great learning. There's just one small thing I want to ask. Does this basically mean that the divine or the nature or whatever energy you want to call it, it does not want to hear I don't? I mean, whatever you say, I don't is attracted more towards you. Does it mean something like that?
Yes, because in creation there are only 2 things. There's the one, the creator, and if the creator doesn't want something, it will not be created. If you say, well, it keeps only silence or creation. The creator will never say, I don't want this. You say, I want this, or if you don't want it, you are in silence.
Okay.
This if you are forgetting what you are, if you forget you are the divine being, then you think you are a creation. And by thinking you are a creation, of course, you forget about that. And then you can have the experiences, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And then you say, I didn't want that, because you forget, no, you wanted it. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. So this insight, I think it's very important, this insight to understand, first at the beginning, maybe just an experiment for most, but then you'll find out, yes, I somehow wanted what's going on. I wanted to experience that.
Exactly. Like very beautifully, the way you said, I remember my granny telling me that in the morning you can get up and you can create your day. You can just do your day the way you want to. You know, now when after listening to you and listening, knowing a few more things, I understand the implication of what she meant. That you are the creator. You can just do it.
Always. But
Always.
usually we don't use the free will, we use the conditioned will by
Yeah.
recreation. And then you get more and more stuck. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
like, what is the best state of mind for creation? Most people use creation, like their conditioned will, etc., when they are not in peace, love, or joy.
Yeah.
It means I feel sadness and then I say, I don't
create.
want this.
Yeah.
But then it's a condition, and then you create what you didn't want, you see? So I think the best way is to first surrender to that, what's going on, and then come back to peace, love, and joy. I call that Trinity, means the three are one. We need all of them, because then it's unconditional love. Only unconditional love is love which is peaceful towards everything. That's unconditional love. If you are in unconditional love, and then you use your free will to create your day, then only the result of that can also be only joy, love, and peace. If you have, as a start, you have anger, then the result also will be anger fruits, of course. I'm not the first one telling that. So if you receive fruits of anger in your life, first eat them, surrender them to them, and then come back to Trinity, to love, peace, and joy, and then start to choose without any reaction. And then the fruits, of course, must be the same, but here, love, peace, and joy only. And this is what you should be very aware of. Whatever you do, why you do that. And this is why and how I'm telling, why and how. And the why and how always is this Trinity. Do it out of love, peace, or joy. And except you are very aware that you use another core, another first step, like sadness, but then you have to know, if I start with sadness, I will create more sadness. It's okay if I want that, but if I want joy, I will not start with sadness. It won't work.
Yeah. Another thing that you said, sorry, I'm still continuing, but that was a very beautiful point, that to avoid darkness, you just need to switch on the light. The darkness will automatically go. You're not fighting. There's no fight there. In divinity, there's no fight. That was a very beautiful thing you said. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
It was great listening to you.
The practical part, just do it yourself. Whenever you feel darkness in your life, inside as a feeling or outside as a surrounding, exactly then your duty is to remember the divine, means remember being loving peace. So when you say, well, the whole world I'm living in, there is no peace, love, or joy currently outside, so darkness, well then I can choose to do that. I can choose to be in love nevertheless. And then I start to move that. If you like, I will send Anu some videos. This will show when some people are attacking you out of anger and you stay in peace. And then not to just surrender and say, well, do whatever you like, but to let peace move through you. You don't choose how peace has to be created outside. You just feel peace and love. And by this, you get inspired. And then love and peace will do something. You'll feel you are dancing in your lives with joy. You will express that. But the result of that, then joy will take care of. You don't have to define it how it should be. And this is then a very big difference we can use. And I like to show that, and I sent you only the videos, but maybe you have some practitioner in your country who can show you. that this is true and not just some fake video going on.
That would be brilliant if you can send the
Thank
videos.
you. That will be very nice.
Yeah, there are some more people who want to ask questions. Salma?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Abuna Semai. I want to ask, like, I have a situation where I'm really resisting that I want it to happen, and then I feel a part of me also is like, no, I don't want it to happen. I want to suffer. So what to do in this situation?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Well, when you have a situation that you don't like, and then you have something reacting to the situation, this is, well, one step further, you find out, there's a problem, and I have a reacting inside of me, reacting to the problem, a resistance. Then it's not about the problem anymore. So go as much as you can into love, peace, and or joy, as whatever comes up, doesn't matter. And then feel this peace, love, and joy towards the part of you which is resisting. So it's not, you don't care about anymore about the problem. You care about what is resisting inside of you towards that. Because what is resisting is like a child saying, no, I don't like spinach. And you're the parent, the mother or the father towards that inner child saying, well, everything is okay. We're fine. Everything is what's coming towards our life now. The energy inside of that, I have chosen to come back to me. At the end, it's only my energy because there's only one. So you have to be like, let's say, the mother or father in loving peace, the higher self, let's say, towards your inner part, which is in resistance or who's in fear. You'll find out you are not resisting. A part of you is resisting. You are loving peace and joy. And you have to choose that. And that's the next important step. And you think, well, I'm resisting. Well, then you are defining what you are. And you are not a divine being because you're resisting. The divine doesn't need to resist something because it's the king anyway. So you go back to divine qualities, loving peace and joy. And by this, you treat your creation, the resisting part. This is a creation. You treat them because why? The part who resists, what is lacking? Peace. Why? The part who resists want to push away, but misunderstands, but by pushing away, it's attracting. And that's also one thing I wanted to answer in the question before. You need to understand what you are. What you are is life-giving. What is touching you will get enforced, will get life force. If the touch is out of love, or if the touch is out of resistance, doesn't matter, it will get charged. You are the source of all energy, of all creation. If it has touch with you, it will get charged. So if you resist to a situation, you charge the situation. By thinking resistance is the same like peace. No, it's not. So we try to use resistance instead of peace. So when you find out there's a part of you resisting, at the end, the part of you is asking for peace. The part says, I don't want this in my life. And that's truly, that's okay. Without knowing, by touching, it's enforcing, you say, oh, what you need is peace. So now you find, what I have peace in my body now, how can I experience peace? Even 2, 3, 5%, doesn't matter. You feel peace towards the part who is resisting. And by this, you feel in peace with resisting. Like, resisting is okay. I'm in peace with resisting. Then you are in touch, peace is in touch with resistance. And by this, the peace is flowing into the resistance, and by this dissolving the resistance and using peace. And by this, the situation is pushed away because you exchange resistance with peace. Understood?
Yeah,
very simple
thank
mechanism.
You. Mm-hmm.
Just
Wonderful.
try that.
We have one more question from Sakshi. Sakshi, could you?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for such an enriching session, sir. My question is, how do we know the sadness we are in is getting relieved, or is it attracting more sadness? Because like these days, when I get up in the morning, I don't really feel like doing anything. It just feels like you're just existing and not living. So does it like is it something related to your past life karma, or is it something which I'm creating on my own in my this present life's karma? Could you please throw some light on it?
Yeah. At the end, it's both. Yeah. What's coming to your life usually is something from your past lives. But when you resist now, you recreate something for the future. So if you resist to feel sad now, then you recreate sadness. And by this is, you make a new script of sadness coming into your life in the future. So every reaction is a new script you create in a copy machine for the future. What's happening now is a script from the past happening now that you've chosen. So, well, I'm one more deeper insight, and then I have to leave shortly. Means when we create out of a reaction, then we create in duality. That means it's like a sound wave. When you have a guitar, you have a string of a guitar, just you mentioned that, and you pull the string, then you have a sound wave going on, like an upper mountain and a lower one, like a wave. Yeah. So, and this wave usually goes like this, and then it vanishes. When you have this part and the opposite part, then when you experience, let's say the lower part, you experience a sadness. It must be that the opposite part must be somewhere. When you experience sadness, you can only experience what you gave, because when you imagine there's only one, then you can receive only what you were giving before. You have to give it outside to be able to receive it. So when now you receive a lot of sadness, it means before you must be one in your past lives where you gave a lot of sadness to others. Otherwise, you cannot receive sadness now. And the problem is, usually waves are like this, like in the wave in the ocean, or better, let's like a lake, that the waves get slower and lower and lower and lower with time. Means the sadness that you receive now is less sadness than you gave in your past life, because the wave you receive now is smaller than you gave in the past life, because death is helping you to diminish that karma. So first, the sadness to receive, and this is sometimes very strange to understand. First, to understand it is your sadness coming, flowing back to you. It's like blue coming back to you, because in your past lives you gave a lot of blue to other people, and much more than you get back. And the problem is not to forgive those people in this life who made you sad. It's much more to forgive yourself how much sadness you gave to other people in your past lives, because
all of you please mute yourself. There's somebody who's not muted.
Please mute. So you do not forgive yourself how much sadness you gave to other people. So forgive yourself how much sadness you gave to other people. It doesn't matter when, what time, which life, which people, you don't care. You say, if you go inside yourself, I can recommend, if you have sadness, go inside of yourself and say, well, whatever I did to other people in any life which made them sad, consciously or unconsciously, willingly or unwillingly, I'm forgiving myself and forgiving you and asking for forgiveness that this happened, because I forgot about myself, what I am. I forgot about peace, love, and joy at that time. And I did so because I wanted to experience how you felt like in my next life. So here you are, this life you are the victim of what you were created in your past lives.
Wonderful. We have the last question. Yes. That's Kiran. And after this, Binaifa, are you up to it? We can probably read cards for one or two people.
Yeah, no, I'm ready.
Wonderful. So, Kiran, ask your question, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the lovely session that we had. This is very enriching for me to learn something new. This is all very new for me, so thank you so much.
Currently, can you repeat, please? I didn't understand because of this.
I'm like, thank you for the lovely session that we had. I have two questions. One is, I do experience a lot of anger, a lot of grudges within me.
Sorry, I couldn't understand. May you write it down in the chat?
Are you able to hear me now?
Because the sound is coming very badly here.
Are you able to hear me now?
May you just try the chat?
Are you able to hear me?
I hear you, but it's very, very strange, the sound, so I couldn't really understand your question.
Okay, okay. So what I'm saying is that I do tend to hold a lot of grudges, a lot of anger within. Okay, I do get impacted with a lot of confrontations that happen around, and I do end up attracting such people. There's a constant feeling of being unwanted, and I do end up attracting that as well. Is how do I really deal with this?
Okay. I could sum it up, maybe if I understand correctly. You feel unwanted, and how you deal with that? Can maybe somebody help, because the sound was bad? Is this correct? Yeah? Okay. Well, many people have that, feeling unwanted. Yes? A deep one, and very related to loneliness too. So this is somehow the sisters feeling unwanted, and this. Well, remember, you receive what you gave. So when you receive a lot of feelings of feeling unwanted, it means you gave that feeling to others to be unwanted in your past lives. It's not about that feeling at the end, it's about the need to be wanted. That's the problem. It's not about how I change my life so people like me and want me, but it's how can I release the need of the feeling to be wanted. At the end, it's only because you don't have, and that might be a little bit tough, self-respect and self-love. If you have so much love for yourself, you don't need love from others. This may sound egoistic, but at the end it's not. Just for example, when I have a glass here, and this is love, and this is missing. Usually what people do is they take the love that they feel in the situation and give it to others, or to situations, etc., to things, so they can conserve love, and by this try to have more love inside of them. So they take the love outside of them, give them somewhere else, and by this they think they get more. That's not the case, the way how it works. It's more, the love that you feel is only for you. It's like your heart has a reason why it's in your chest. We have sayings here in Europe, I think the same also maybe in India, etc., that you give your heart to somebody when you love somebody. That's not love. That is seduction and longing. Means the heart has a reason why it's in your chest. Don't give your heart. Your heart is only there for yourself. Means when you feel love, feel it only for yourself. Don't do anything with that. Don't give it away. Means you fill your whole system up with love until there is so much love inside of yourself that the next love that you feel will just spill over the glass, because you are so full of love, and all extra that you feel will just move over, so you can give something of that to others without becoming empty. And that's important. We don't give the love away that's there for yourself. So love yourself until you explode and spill over in love. But first, love yourself. And then you can love others. If you cannot love yourself first enough, then you can't love others, of course, because you don't have enough for yourself anyway. So when you are thirsty, you cannot give others something to drink, because you don't have water for yourself. You cannot. You can pretend, of course, but you can't. You don't have it. You can do so if you like, but it's only pretension. And so here important is the divine self, let's say, our heart, like our heart is pounding all the time. And this is a sign of love is given to us all the time. Life is given to us all the time. And if you feel love, you sit down for meditation, you feel the love, how much you feel now, and don't use the love for something. Just enjoy the love, absorb the love like a sponge. Give it only to yourself. Give all the love that you feel to yourself first until you're so full of love like a sponge that there's no space in you anymore where there is no love anymore. And all extra love coming from the divine, because you're so loved, you get all love all the time, like the heart is pounding all the time, and then you spill over. And this love you can give unconditionally, because you don't get empty when you give that. This is the most important thing people don't do. They don't feel just love and just feel it without using it for something.
So how does one create this self-love when it doesn't exist?
By loving. This is very simple. Who of you did that, just to sit down for an hour and just feel love and do nothing else? Do that. Do nothing else, then feel love. Even what Dr. Kwesi asking was the pain. If you can feel love while you are feeling pain, this has to change the pain, the quality of the pain, because you have another biochemistry, because love, well, you know that will deal with pain differently than like resisting to pain. So, but you have to choose. We are so loved, we are allowed by our free will, because free will is higher than love. We can throw love away and say, I am so unloved at the end. But that's a very arrogant thing to say. If you are unloved from the divine, you wouldn't exist anyway. So by your mere existence, the divine says you are wanted. But we say, no, that's not enough. I need a good job, I need a good partner, and then I'm enough. Right? Say, it's not enough to be existent. The divine love is not enough. If the divine wouldn't love you, you wouldn't exist. And so the best thing to feel love is because you exist. No other reason is necessary, because you exist. And if you train that, sit down, I know I'm existing, I know how feel love's like, and now I'm existing and feeling love at the same time, and do this for an hour. And this is practical self-love, just choosing to feel love. And then after some time, this will fill up your inner cup every day. Do this maybe only for half an hour every day. And after 3 weeks, maybe you look back to your life, and I can promise to you that because you've chosen to put inside your mind more love, maybe only half an hour a day, and not all other emotions, the outer world has to reflect that somehow. So some things must happen who reflect the love that you gave yourself first. So what you give inside yourself first will be reflected from the outside, because not we are the creators at the end. Like we don't make air element, we don't make water element. Our heart does that. The divine being in our heart does that. Like gravity, we don't create that. This is created by the divine being inside of ourselves. And what we want to experience, we give that divine self. So we give love to ourselves. And by this, the screen, the movie screen, the life will reflect that at some time. It will need some time, of course.
Thank you so much.
Try that. Very easy at the end to see.
So this is where we'll say thank you. You've really thrown light on certain very, very difficult topics: self-love, acceptance, free will, karma. These are very, very difficult concepts, and yet very, very easy. It's how difficult we've made it. So I really, really appreciate what you've done for us today. And we would like to give you a small gift back in return. And so Binaifa is going to be reading certain angel cards for you. And she's been doing that for all our speakers. Thank you, Binaifa. And could you also please put down on the you are the part of the group, are you? Or have I put you as a part of the group? Yes, I have. If you can just go over there and talk about, what you announced right in the beginning. And if people want to kind of put any money, then what is the donation link that they need to be putting money for? That would be the best thing to do. Binaifa?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Stefan. Lovely session. Thank you so much. Okay, I've picked up 2 cards for you. The first card is Angel Merlina. So this is what it looks like. And the message is you are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. So that is one message for you from the angels. The second message is of peace from Archangel Samuel. That is this one. And that message is peace comes from remembering that only love is real.
That's what he's been talking about all this while. Wonderful. I feel we need to take out one more card for the little girl, Maya.
Maya, okay.
Maya. The one who came knocking on the door?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Should we take 2 cards or 1?
Yeah, I'll take 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So for her, I have got Angel Vanessa, who is saying, to make your decision, ask yourself which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and which way takes me away from it. So she has to just focus on what her goals are and what her divine purpose is. And the second card is Archangel Sandalphon, who talks about gentleness. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, gentle situations, and environments.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
So, so thank you for your time, energy, and love.
Thank you.
And use it. I think that Anu will give that recording maybe also sometime.
Yes, I will. I will.
Great.
Send
So
it across. Yeah.
you can repeat that if you find it useful.
Yeah. And please do put the link where people can go and
do that next
Thank you.
hour.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen,
Have a
for
good
the
evening
wonderful
and good night.
session.
Lie down,
Thank
feel
you.
love,
Thank you so
and fall
much.
asleep with love.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
So, Binaifa, would you do a reading for Roop Lakhani? And,
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for that reading, special reading for me.
You have a question, Roop? Roop, do you have a question?
Roop, do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any. I don't have any question.
Okay. Okay, so Roop, I have picked up 2 cards for you. And one card talks about somebody who will enter your life, who is going to be like a guiding star for you as far as your mind is concerned, as far as your mental issues are concerned. So try and be more relaxed and more open to accepting suggestions from that person. And career-wise,
Can you repeat? There was a lag.
Okay. You will get somebody in your life right now or in a couple of months who will guide you and make you emotionally stronger. So try not to deviate and try to actually listen to the people who are more willing to take you forward in life and help you in your career, help you in your emotional state. So try to see the difference between people who really care for you and people who are just saying it because they want to please you and just be yes men and just try to agree with everything for you, even if it may not be good. So try to differentiate between these two people, and somebody who's going to keep you emotionally stable and mentally stable is going to enter your life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we do one reading for Dr. Kwesi?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Doctor, I've picked up two cards for you. So one angel card is the angel of patience. So she is saying now is the time to learn, study and gather information, enjoy being a student, because in the future you will synthesize your knowledge into action. So I think you're already doing that. So this is already on the way for you. And the second card, the tarot card that I got for you is the Wheel of Fortune. So right now, whatever is there, it's just going to get better for you right now. So all you need to do is just wait for good times to roll. It's a good time for you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's go with Sakshi. Thank you. Sakshi.
Sakshi, do you have a question?
Yes, actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
I have somebody in my life, and I took that decision a while ago. But now I've started to have doubts about the person. I mean, will I be willing to, be with that person in future or not? So it's not about that person. It's just about me. I am doubtful about myself. So.
So what do you want to know exactly? If that person is right for you or not?
Yeah, exactly. Is it something possible, or is it just my mind's playing game with me? Just want to know that.
You'll have to really think about it and then take your decision, because there is no compulsion right now that you have to take a decision. So take some time, wait, because the true identity might come out a little later. And it's possible that the person is not being himself and showing himself to be somebody else.
Okay.
That is a possibility. So just wait it out, take some time, and then only take your decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Let's go to the next person. Andy. I don't know who this person is, but Andy. ANDI.
Do you have a question, Andy?
Okay, so let's go to the next person then. Sarita.
Hi, Binafa.
Hi. Do you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I just want to know general.
Okay. Okay, so right now maybe you're feeling a little mentally disturbed. You just try to relax yourself, try to occupy yourself with something positive. And if you feel that you're going through some politics in your workspace, then just try and move away for some time. Try to detach yourself from the place. It may or may not be possible physically to do that, but emotionally try to just be away from people who are trying to pull you down. And just try to be as positive as you can, because this is a phase where you need to hold yourself together, and that's the only thing that's going to get you through.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Can we do a reading for my mother? She doesn't know how to
Yes.
unmute it, but just read the cards for her.
Sure. I'll do an angel card reading for her.
Yeah. I'm really in gratitude. She sits every evening
So sweet.
Watching this program, asking me 50 times, have you put the link up? She doesn't want me to give up on this program. So, bless her.
So 2 cards for her. The first one is Archangel Jeremiah, who is talking about overcoming difficulties. It's a beautiful card. And he says the worst is now behind you and you are surmounting any previous challenges. So be happy with that. And the second one is Angel Laila. And she says, spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions. Ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
as usual, we do it for the whole group. So could you do that before we say a goodbye? It's already 12 o'clock. I am so grateful that, even at this hour, you're sitting down, all of you. On the 3rd, we'll have to have the program a little early because I have a board meeting to attend. So we might do it at 5:30 in the evening rather to 7:30 rather than doing it at 9:30 at night. So just making you guys a little bit heads up like on that. I don't want to be running and using 2 mics and 2 headphones. I did that last time. I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay, so I picked up 2 cards for the group. The first card is an angel card, which says, take action. You are in touch with your truth in this situation and you need to trust your gut and lovingly assert yourself. So this was a reverse card. So this is what we are not doing. We need to trust in ourselves. We need to do the thing which we feel is right from the heart, to work from the heart.
This is for all of us. We need
yes, for all of us. Yes. Yeah. And the second card I picked up was a tarot card. And all of us who are here today need to spread the light, need to spread awareness about how we can help each other and how to just keep going in this situation. And not just this situation, generally in life, we need to be the torch bearers. I mean, if we were not interested in this field, if we were not interested in helping others, or at least ourselves, we would not be here at this time of night, or even in this point in life. So just go ahead and spread the light.
Lovely. You know what? It comes down to go and spread this Facebook message that I keep putting.
Yes.
All of you can at least
Right.
do that. At least post it on your Facebooks, guys.
Exactly.
Just one post.
One share. Yes.
You never know. It's not about, I'm not charging you guys anything. This is about connecting. This is about someone is sitting sad there. And someone sitting sad there probably has given up on their life. I hear so many people saying, you know what, I don't want to live anymore. But maybe this post, maybe somebody just hearing somebody out. And you never know what clicks in their brain and they live. There is such a fine difference between life and death. Every time we breathe out, we are not there. And every time we breathe in, we are taking in life. So life and death is so close. And if we can give that gift to someone of 2 hours that they can hear something, why not? Tomorrow we're going to have a very beautiful, amazing speaker, Penny Kural, somebody who's had a very high impact in my life, and we'll be meeting her tomorrow. She's a queen of tapping and she's a beautiful person. So yet another huge, beautiful topic tomorrow. So good night. See you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Anu, for the lovely sessions you're giving us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anu.
Good
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Anu, so much. Good night.
आज का गाना नहीं सुनाया मैंने यार. This is too bad यार. Too bad. आज नहीं. कल करेंगे. कल मैं उदास हो गई उसके बाद. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Kya गाना है? Bye bye, Miss Good Night.
No.
Say, Baba. Why you don't want to say?
Hi.
I don't know what I found. Okay, guys. See you. Love you all.
You too. Bye bye. Bye, ma'am. Bye.